Tour de France, you probably know what it is. It's a bike race across France, right? But what you didn't know is that if you're going to attend the Tour de France, there's some key details that are very important, like choosing a very small city for crowd control and the likelihood that it'll have lots of free festivities and entertainment. Also choose a city that has one of the loop legs rather than city to city, because if it's a loop, you get more opportunity to see the racers, the start, the finish, maybe mid-course. It's a really cool event, 100% free, and we recommend going.
Oui, et au départ de Nîmes, il était parti, direction Buisson, victorieusement, il repart pour la première. Écoutez, mesdames et messieurs, votre fait marque.
Alexander Christophe, mesdames et messieurs, qui s'était imposé à Nîmes.
We're about as clueless as we've ever been for any event we've ever attended. There's not a lot of information out there in English. Most things are in French. What we've gathered is behind us there's a lot of really excited people. This is the start line. There's going to be like a parade. There's going to be a parade, and then there's going to be a fictitious start where the riders like pretend to start, but it's not really a start. It says they start neutral. I don't know what that means. Is there a neutral gear on a bicycle? I ride bikes. I don't know there's a neutral gear, and I'm not sure how they're going to stay neutral for 10 minutes, but that's what it said in French. Google Translate. Anyway, we're excited. There's a lot of excitement. This should be fun.
Couple of hours of the racing is going to be yeah, quite nervous, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. And it's actually the difference today is there's a headwind in the last 30 kilometers coming to the finish, so I don't know if
Thank you very much and good luck out there. Alexander.
We are braving the sun to see these dudes on bikes.
It's hot. It's too damn hot outside for a penguin.
Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope.
Opera. I think it's so cool that you can just walk around European cities and you can hear such classical things, like a lady practicing her opera, or like a guy playing the accordion, or some people playing string instruments.
We're gonna hustle over to the finish line now and hopefully see these guys finish this bike race. We kind of lost track of time in our Airbnb, having some rehydration.
We're going to be on the lookout for 4 different types of jerseys. We've got the yellow one, which is the person who's in first. We have the white jersey with red polka dots like my hat. That's going to be for the best mountain climber. And then we have the green one for the best sprinter, and the white jersey for the best guy who's under the age of 26.
There's one for the guy who's 26 and under, because you know this is like an old man sport. Apparently you get faster and better the older you are, so usually 26-year-olds and younger might be in their athletic prime. When it comes to endurance events, not so much. You're probably one of the slower guys, so there's a certain color jersey for that guy, so we'll be on the lookout for all these jerseys. That's it. It's pretty cool. A lot of guys running around with machine guns. Also, there was a crash 28 kilometers out, and apparently one guy went down, and the app just says like he did not resume the race, so ambulance picked him up. So the Tour de France is not like this leisurely bike ride. It's actually a pretty grueling manly man's endurance event, if you will. But it is like a gentleman's race as well, because on the very last leg in Paris, it's tradition that the leader strolls into Paris holding a glass of champagne, as in, haha, I've already won this race, because it's such a long race that he's usually far enough ahead. Very rarely is there any like new champion decided in Paris on the last leg, but it does happen sometimes. Okay. if you can, when you come to the Tour de France, it's worth it to go to a city that's a loop, because most of them are just from city to city, right? So either you're in the start city and you see the start, then they leave and that's it. It's like, okay, cool, they're gone. That was really neat. It's like 60 seconds of seeing the riders. Or you're somewhere in between cities on the course and you can see them pass, but there's none of the festivities. Or you're at the finish city and you see them all come in, and that's really exciting, what we just saw. They'll have festivities there as well, but on the loop you get to see them start and finish, and in between you can go like have some drinks and do some of the festivities, and it's really cool. It's a lot of fun, so that's what we recommend. Let's talk about that parade this morning. So it was the most bizarre parade I've seen and one of the fastest parades I've seen. The reason it's really fast is that they have to do the entire route that the guys actually bike on for this leg of the race. Like if they're advertising chicken, then the float was a giant bucket of chicken. And if they're advertising dish detergent, then the float was a giant jug of dish detergent. If you don't like educational pieces, you can go ahead and fast forward now. Anyway, Tour de France started because over 100 years ago there was only one like sports newspaper. It was called a magazine, but another one started. I believe it was called Le Auto or something like that. A lot of these details might be wrong, but just go with me here. So they started a new sports paper, and they're like, how do we get people to read our newspaper? How do we get it across the country of France? I'm like, let's organize a bicycle race, and then we'll have like this big advertisement parade in front of each leg of the race, and that way we'll cover the race with our newspaper. It'll be a big to-do, and we'll go all across the country, and that's pretty much how it started. Now they printed their new sports newspaper on paper that was yellow. That's why yellow is associated with the Tour de France. Also, yellow signifies danger because, like I think I said earlier or later in the video, I'm not sure, it's not exactly like a super safe race. It's pretty grueling. A guy crashed today, and apparently it was a bad crash. But that's some history on Tour de France.
I don't know what the game is, but there's a few guys on a bike that are coming my way right now. Oh, they're going. Yep, they're going. And so one guy starts, the other guy races, tries to catch them, and then at the end they have to chug a beer. Plot twist, there were multiple beers on the course that were just like in a windowsill, so you had to like grab it, chug it, and then continue on. Sounds like my type of race.
I think our overall recommendations would be come the day before the race. Don't try to show the day of, because there is going to be stuff going on around the city, and you want to just kind of get a feel for it and maybe even look at the course and pick out where you want to witness things. And then the day of the race, obviously you're there to see the race, and then usually the day of the race that evening as well, there's stuff going on around the city. Also, since you're in France, if you're not European, there's a lot of history to see, like the most intact Colosseum from Roman times, or one of the most well-preserved temples, Roman temples here. There's just a lot going on, a lot to see. And we're in Nimes. They change cities every year?
Yes.
They change cities every year, so we can't say come here next year, but they've done it in Nimes before, so they may do it again. So as you're scheduling things, I would say focus on the small cities, the small towns. They're not going to be as crowded, easier to navigate, a loop on the course. Huge cities are going to be, like, honestly, this wasn't that crowded. I was not blown away by the crowd. The energy was really good for sure, but the crowd, not too bad. So Tour de France, 2 thumbs up, would do again. Not as scary as running of the bulls. They should put bulls behind the bikes, I think. That would maybe spice it up.